Right. Ever wish you had like a cheat sheet for success?
Mhm.
Kind of like those life hacks videos, but for building a fortune and hitting all your wildest dreams?
Oh, yeah.
Well, today we're going deep on a classic that claims to have cracked the code. Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich.
Oh, absolutely. And it's way more than just, some motivational fluff.
Right.
It really is a fascinating piece of work, especially when you consider that it was essentially a 20-year research project
Whoa.
commissioned by Andrew Carnegie himself,
Okay, so we've got Carnegie,
the steel tycoon.
basically the OG self-made millionaire, betting on this idea.
Right.
He tasks Hill with interviewing hundreds of successful people.
Yeah.
The real heavy hitters of the time, Ford, Rockefeller, Edison,
Mm-hmm.
and try to figure out like their secret sauce.
Mm-hmm.
So after spending 2 decades on this project, what did Hill actually find?
Well, one of the most surprising findings was that many of these titans, despite their massive fortunes, they didn't have that much formal education.
Oh.
Yeah, great example is John Wanamaker, who's like a pioneer in retail. He compared his learning journey to a steam locomotive, like picking up water as it chugs along.
Okay.
So it really drives home the point that your background doesn't have to dictate your potential for success.
I like that a lot.
Yeah.
So it's not about where you came from.
Mm-hmm.
It's about where you're going.
Exactly.
Now let's get into the meat of it. What's the foundation?
Right.
What is that bedrock of this magic formula for success that Carnegie was so convinced about?
It all starts with something Hill calls burning desire.
Burning desire. I like the sound of that.
All right.
It definitely sounds more intense than just kind of like wishing for something.
Oh, for sure. It's not about casually wanting something. It's about this unshakable belief that you will achieve it no matter what roadblocks you face. Think of it like a fire in your belly
Okay.
driving you forward.
I'm feeling the heat already. But does Hill actually give any concrete examples of this burning desire in action?
He does. One story that always stands out is about Edwin Barnes.
Okay.
And this guy had this intense desire to work with Thomas Edison.
Okay.
Not just for him, but with him.
With him, yeah.
And this guy was so determined that he literally rode a freight train to get to Edison, overcoming any obstacle in his way.
Wow, that's commitment.
Oh,
That
thanks.
really makes you think. What's your burning desire? What would you go to those extreme lengths to achieve? It's a good question for all of us listening to ponder.
For sure. Identifying your burning desire is like the first step. But Hill goes on to say that it's not enough to simply want something. You have to believe you can achieve it.
So we're talking about faith here, like religious faith.
Not necessarily. Hill's concept of faith is more about cultivating a belief in yourself and your goals, a state of mind that can be developed through what he calls autosuggestion.
Auto-suggestion, now that sounds intriguing. Break that down for us. What is that exactly?
Think of it as consistently feeding your mind positive affirmations, almost like you're rewiring your brain for success.
Hill even cites Mahatma Gandhi as an example.
Okay.
Here's a guy who had no money,
Right.
no material possessions, but he wielded incredible power
Yeah.
through his unwavering faith in his mission.
So, in a way, faith becomes like this internal fuel that propels you forward, even when the odds seem stacked against you.
Right.
It's about believing in the power of your own vision. Have you ever felt that kind of faith in your own life? Like that unshakable belief that helped you overcome a challenge?
Definitely. I mean, I think we all have those moments
Yeah.
where something within us just clicks and we know we can achieve something that seemed impossible before.
Right.
And that's the power of faith
Yeah.
that Hill's talking about.
Now I want to talk about a story that really caught my eye. The story of Charles Schwab and the birth of U.S. Steel.
Yes,
He was one of the guys who actually put Hill's principles into practice, right?
exactly. And it wasn't just some small-time operation.
Right.
We're talking about Schwab securing financing from J.P. Morgan himself
Wow.
to create U.S. Steel,
Yeah.
a total game changer in the industrial world.
Huge.
Massive undertaking, a real power move.
So wait, just an idea,
Mm-hmm.
and the faith that he had in that idea led to how much profit did he make?
Hill claims that, roughly speaking, Schwab's application of this philosophy was worth about $600 million
Yeah.
to those involved
Whoa.
in $1937.
$600 million. Okay, I'm definitely paying attention now.
Right.
So the story of Schwab's success really illustrates this point that believing in yourself and your vision can really make a difference.
Right.
Okay, this next part is where things get really interesting.
Okay.
Hill introduces this concept of the sixth sense.
Ooh.
Now, before you think we're going all mystical here, Hill's not talking about some supernatural power.
Right.
He describes it as a practical tool
Mm.
for tapping into infinite intelligence.
Infinite intelligence.
Okay, I'm all ears. Explain that to me like I'm 5. Is there like an app for that?
Think of it as developing your intuition,
Okay.
accessing a higher level of awareness.
Okay.
Hill himself used a pretty interesting technique.
Okay.
He created an imaginary cabinet of advisors,
Okay.
including figures like Lincoln, Emerson, Darwin, to help him refine his thinking and character.
So it's almost like a mental mastermind group.
Right.
I love that. I'm a very visual person, so that kind of technique really speaks to me.
And what's really fascinating is that there's actually a lot of modern scientific research
Yeah.
that seems to back up this idea of a sixth sense.
Really?
Studies on telepathy, clairvoyance.
Wow.
It seems we're just beginning to scratch the surface of these unseen forces at play.
Okay, now my mind is officially blown. So what's the takeaway here for our listeners? Could you tap into the sixth sense? What amazing things might you achieve if you did?
That's the question, isn't it? What if the limitations we perceive are mostly self-imposed?
Right. What if by connecting with this infinite intelligence, we could unlock this level of creativity and insight we never thought possible? It's a pretty exciting thought.
Definitely something to ponder.
Mhm.
Now, Hill also explores this, shall we say, unconventional idea of transmuting sexual energy into creative energy.
And that's where we'll pick up in part 2. Welcome back. Last time we left off on a rather intriguing note, Hill's concept of transmuting sexual energy. Are you ready to unpack this idea?
You bet. It definitely piques my curiosity. But before we get into that, let's do a quick recap for our listeners.
Mhm.
We've covered the power of burning desire, faith, and even tapped into the mysterious sixth sense. I feel like we've already uncovered a treasure trove of insights.
Absolutely. We've laid a solid foundation. Now, regarding this idea of transmuting sexual energy, let's be clear. Hill isn't suggesting anything inappropriate. He's actually talking about harnessing a very powerful force and redirecting it towards something productive.
Okay, that makes sense. It's like taking that raw energy and channeling it into something creative or ambitious.
Exactly. Think of it like this. We all have this potent energy within us. Hill's point is that instead of letting it control us, we can learn to control it
Mhm.
and use it to fuel our goals, our passions.
So it's not about suppressing your desires, but about transforming them into something meaningful,
Hmm.
something that drives you forward. I like that. Does Hill give any examples of this in action?
He does. He points to a number of historical figures known for their genius
Right.
and, well, their or rather colorful personal lives.
Right.
Think about it. Passion, drive, creative energy. They can manifest in many different ways.
Okay, I see where he's going with this.
Ah.
It's like that saying, behind every great man.
Mhm.
Well, you get the idea, but let's get practical here.
Yeah.
How do you actually go about transmuting this energy?
He'll suggest focusing that energy on your work, your goals, your creative pursuits,
Okay.
anything that requires that extra push, that extra spark. He believes that the emotion of sex contains the secret of creative ability.
Interesting. So it's about understanding the power of this energy and finding constructive ways to channel it,
Right.
to transform it into something that benefits you and the world around you.
Exactly. Now let's shift gears a bit and talk about something that might seem less exciting, but is equally important. Overcoming fear. Hill identifies 6 basic fears that hold people back.
6 ghosts of fear. Right. Okay, hit me with them. What are we talking about here?
He lists them as poverty, criticism, ill health, loss of love, old age, and death. Pretty universal fears, wouldn't you say?
Definitely. I think we've all grappled with at least one of those at some point in our lives. But what's Hill's advice for dealing with them? Does he offer any practical solutions?
He does. And it's not about pretending these fears don't exist. He emphasizes the importance of controlling your thoughts, surrounding yourself with positive influences, and taking responsibility for your own well-being. He even goes so far as to suggest getting rid of unnecessary medications and refusing to dwell on imaginary illnesses.
So it's about taking a proactive approach, both mentally and physically, to combat these fears.
Exactly. It's about understanding that fear can be a powerful force, but it doesn't have to control your life.
Okay, that makes sense.
Mm.
Now, throughout this deep dive, you've mentioned the importance of having a mastermind group. Can you elaborate on that a bit more? What exactly is it, and why is it so crucial for success?
Hill defines a mastermind group as a coordination of knowledge and effort between two or more people working in harmony to achieve a specific purpose. He believed that no individual can achieve great things in isolation.
So it's like assembling your own personal dream team, a group of brilliant minds to support you, challenge you, and hold you accountable.
Precisely. Think about Henry Ford and his close relationships with figures like Thomas Edison and Harvey Firestone. Hill argues that those connections, that intellectual synergy, played a significant role in Ford's success.
Okay, I'm starting to see the power of this. It's like that old saying, two heads are better than one.
Yeah.
But in this case, it's more like a group of brilliant minds is better than one.
Exactly. It's about leveraging the collective wisdom and energy of a group to achieve something extraordinary. And you know what's fascinating? Hill even suggests that the mastermind principle was at work in the creation of the Declaration of Independence.
Whoa, really? That's a pretty bold claim.
It is, but think about it. You had brilliant minds like John Adams, Thomas Jefferson, and Benjamin Franklin coming together, sharing their ideas, and ultimately forging a plan that changed the course of history. That's a pretty powerful example of the mastermind principle in action.
I'm sold. Mastermind group, here I come. But before I go recruit my dream team, I want to circle back to something we discussed earlier, organized planning. Hill's a big advocate for this, right?
Absolutely. He believed that a burning desire without a plan is like a ship without a rudder.
Okay, so it's not enough to just dream big. You need to have a clear roadmap for turning those dreams into reality. Does Hill give any specific tips for creating an effective plan?
He does. He emphasizes the importance of definiteness of purpose,
Okay.
knowing exactly what you want to achieve. Then there's desire, that burning passion that fuels your efforts. And of course, faith, an unwavering belief in your ability to succeed.
Right, we've covered those key principles. But I'm curious about the practical side of planning. What specific steps does Hill recommend?
He actually outlines 8 specific factors that contribute to persistence. They are definiteness of purpose, desire, self-reliance, definiteness of plans, accurate knowledge, cooperation, willpower, and habit.
8 factors, got it. So it's about combining a strong mindset with a strategic approach, and then, of course, putting in the work consistently and persistently.
Exactly. And that brings us to another crucial element of success: decision-making.
Decision-making. Okay, I'm intrigued. But haven't we been making decisions our entire lives? What's so special about this step?
Hill's point is that most people are actually terrible decision makers. They allow fear, doubt, and indecision to paralyze them, preventing them from taking action and moving forward.
Okay, I can see how that would be a problem. So what's the key to becoming a more decisive person?
Hill suggests setting deadlines, making decisions quickly and confidently, and sticking to those decisions once they're made. He also emphasizes the importance of seeking counsel from your mastermind group, but ultimately, the final decision rests with you.
So it's about taking ownership of your choices and not letting fear dictate your actions.
Precisely. And to really drive this point home, Hill uses a powerful analogy: the signing of the Declaration of Independence.
Okay, I'm really curious now. How does the Declaration of Independence relate to decision-making?
Think about it. Those 56 men who signed that document were essentially signing their own death warrants. They were defying the most powerful empire in the world, knowing the consequences could be dire. But they made a decision, a bold and decisive one, and they stood by it, ultimately shaping the destiny of a nation.
Wow, that's a powerful example. So Hill is suggesting that we all have that same capacity for courage and decisiveness within us.
Absolutely. He believes that by understanding and applying the principles of decisive action, you can overcome any obstacle and achieve any goal you set your mind to. But it all starts with a decision.
Okay, listeners, here's a question for you. What decision have you been putting off? What fear is holding you back? What bold action could you take right now to move closer to your dreams? Think about that, and we'll pick up the conversation in part 3, where we'll delve into the remaining steps in Hill's formula for success. Welcome back to the final part of our deep dive into Think and Grow Rich.
Yeah,
We've covered a lot of ground,
we have.
burning desire, faith, the sixth sense, even transmuting sexual energy. Now, are you ready to uncover the remaining secrets to success?
Absolutely. We've explored the foundational principles,
Right.
power of the mastermind, and the importance of decisive action. Now let's delve into the final steps in Hill's formula, starting with step 8, persistence.
Persistence, the good old never give up mantra. But I have a feeling Hill has a more nuanced take on it than just that.
You're absolutely right. It's much deeper than simply refusing to quit. Hill argues that persistence is the power of will in action. It's about developing this unwavering determination to achieve your goals no matter what challenges you encounter.
So it's about having that inner strength to push through tough times, even when things get, messy.
Right.
But we all know willpower can be pretty fickle. How do you actually cultivate that kind of grit?
Hill believed that willpower is very closely linked to desire. The
Okay.
more intense your desire, the more likely you are to persevere, even in the face of adversity.
So it goes back to that burning desire we talked
Yeah.
about earlier.
Hmm.
The more you want something,
Yeah.
the more willing you are to fight for it.
Yeah.
But what about those times when you just, feel like throwing in the towel, when the doubts creep in and you just want to give up?
Hill wouldn't let you off that easy. He shares inspiring stories of individuals who achieved great things through sheer persistence. Take Fannie Hurst, for example. She spent years writing without recognition or reward before finally achieving literary success.
That's a great reminder that success often takes, time and consistent effort. It's
Yeah,
not always about that instant gratification.
for sure.
So it's about trusting the process, believing in your vision and pushing through those moments of self-doubt.
Exactly. Hill believed that every failure brings with it the seed of an equivalent success. He even breaks down persistence into 8 specific factors.
Okay.
They are definiteness of purpose, desire, self-reliance, definiteness of plans, accurate knowledge, cooperation, willpower, and habit.
8 factors. Got it.
Yeah.
So it's a combination of mindset, strategy, and just, plain old hard work. But didn't we already cover step 9, the power of the mastermind?
We did touch on it, but it's worth revisiting in the context of persistence. Remember, Hill believed that no one achieves great things alone. We all need support, guidance, and inspiration from others.
So having a strong support system, your mastermind group, can help you stay motivated and on track when you hit those inevitable roadblocks. It's like having, a team of cheerleaders in your corner pushing you to keep going.
Precisely. The mastermind group acts as a sounding board for ideas, a source of accountability, and a wellspring of encouragement.
It's about surrounding yourself with people who believe in your vision and support your journey. Now let's move on to a topic that might raise a few eyebrows. Step 10, the mystery of sex transmutation.
Ah, yes, one of Hill's more controversial concepts. But it's important to understand what he really meant by this. He wasn't advocating for promiscuity or anything of that sort.
So what was he getting at? How does sex transmutation fit into his formula for success?
Hill believed that sexual energy is this incredibly powerful force. Instead of letting it control you, he suggests channeling it, redirecting it towards your goals and your creative pursuits.
So it's about harnessing that raw energy and transforming it into something productive, something that, drives you forward.
Exactly. He believed that the emotion of sex holds the secret to creative ability. It's about focusing that passion and drive on your work, your art, your purpose. He even cites examples of, historical figures
Right.
known for their genius
Yeah.
and, well, let's just say they had a lot of passion.
Okay, I'm starting to see the connection. It's about taking that intense energy
Mm-hmm.
and using it as fuel for your ambitions.
Mm-hmm.
Now let's move on to step 11, the subconscious mind. This is a topic that always fascinates me.
The subconscious mind is a powerful force, and Hill believed it was the key to programming yourself for success. He describes it as the connecting link
Okay.
between our finite minds and infinite intelligence.
Okay, I've heard a lot about the power of the subconscious, but how does it actually work? How can you, use it to achieve your goals?
Hill believed in the power of repetition, emotion, and faith. He even suggested writing down your definite chief aim, your ultimate goal, and reading it aloud twice daily with as much feeling and conviction as you can muster.
So it's like planting seeds in your subconscious mind,
Right.
feeding it positive affirmations and visualizations. It's about believing in yourself and your vision so deeply that your subconscious mind starts to believe it too.
Precisely. He also stressed the importance of protecting your subconscious mind from negativity. Surrounding yourself with positive influences, people who uplift and inspire you, is crucial.
That makes sense. Now what about step 12? The brain A broadcasting and receiving station for thought. That sounds pretty high tech.
Hill was way ahead of his time in recognizing that our thoughts are powerful forms of energy.
Yeah.
He believed that we're constantly transmitting and receiving thoughts, influencing and being influenced by the world around us.
So it's like we're all like walking radio towers, right?
Yeah.
Broadcasting our thoughts and picking up signals from others. That's a pretty mind-blowing concept.
It is. And Nicole believed we could even tap into infinite intelligence through our thoughts. By aligning our minds uh, with a higher power, he believed that we could access wisdom and creativity beyond our normal capabilities.
It's like recognizing that we're all connected, part of this vast network of energy and consciousness.
That's a beautiful way to put it. And this brings us to the final step in Hill's formula, step 13, the sixth sense.
We talked about the sixth sense earlier in terms of intuition, and accessing this higher level of awareness. But how does it fit into this grand finale of Hill's philosophy?
Think of the sixth sense as the culmination of all the preceding steps. It's the point where you've mastered your mindset,
Okay.
developed your skills, cultivated a strong mastermind group, harnessed your sexual energy, and aligned yourself with infinite intelligence. You've essentially reached a level of mental and spiritual mastery.
So it's like the ultimate reward,
Right.
for all that hard work and dedication.
In a way, yes. Hill described it as that part of the subconscious mind, which we call the creative imagination. He believed that at this level of awareness, you can manifest your desires into reality.
Okay, that sounds incredible, but also, a little mysterious.
Hmm.
How do you know when you've reached that level?
It's a very personal journey,
Right.
and there's no one-size-fits-all answer. But Hill suggests that it's characterized by a deep sense of inner peace, clarity, and this unshakable confidence.
So it's about trusting your intuition,
Mm.
recognizing the synchronicities in your life
Yeah.
and taking inspired actions, about believing in yourself and your dreams, and then taking those bold steps to make them a reality.
Beautifully said. Now, before we wrap up this deep dive, there's one more important theme I'd like to touch on: cultivating a pleasing personality.
Ah, yes. He'll dedicate an entire chapter to that. It makes sense. People are more likely to, support you
Right.
and want to work with you if you're, well, pleasant to be around. But what are like some of the key ingredients of a pleasing personality?
Hill highlights qualities like a positive mental attitude,
Okay.
a genuine interest in others,
Mm.
a willingness to cooperate, a good sense of humor, and the ability to make people feel comfortable and valued. It's about being authentic and engaging, not just putting on some superficial charm.
So it's about developing those qualities that, attract people to you and make them want to be a part of your journey.
Exactly. Hill believed that cultivating a pleasing personality not only increases your chances of success, but also enriches your relationships and leads to a more fulfilling life.
Well, that brings us to the end of our deep dive into Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich. We've covered a lot of ground, and I hope our listeners have gleaned some valuable insights. What about you?
Oh, absolutely. I think this book has so much to offer, even even in our modern world.
Right. It's amazing how timeless and relevant these principles are. If you could choose just one principle from Hill's philosophy to focus on right now, which one would it be? And how could you apply it to create positive change in your life? That's something to ponder as you continue your journey towards achieving your own definition of success.